Okay, it's time to give you the present I promised earlier. So to set the stage so you can understand the significance of this present, let's review the annual costs for alternative providers of education. Recall earlier that I cited the NEA data showing that both the national average and the state of California education costs for government schools are approximately $12,000 per year. So I've done some research on the costs of alternative schools, and I've concluded the following. For $1,000 annually, not the $12,000 that we're spending in government schools, for $1,000 annually, you can get a Chevy or Ford education. That means an education that you can get by with. It's adequate. It'll do the job. It's all you need. For $2,000, you can get a Cadillac or Lincoln Town Car education. You want to step it up a little bit. For $3,000, you can get a Mercedes or BMW education. For $5,000, you can really go grand. You can get a Rolls-Royce education. Or, for the national average and California cost of $12,000 per year, you can get a Yugo education. And my apologies to the Yugo. Why are we putting up with spending $12,000 per year per student for the production of functional literates when we could be spending $1,000 per year per student for young people equipped with adequate skills to read, write, think, and calculate? The bottom line is, we Americans are paying on the order of 10 times more for educating our children than we should be. Can you imagine how much better off we would be by spending only 1/10 of what we're currently spending? Can you imagine how much we could do productively with that other 90%? Roughly $520 billion on a national basis, or $66 billion here in California alone. Okay, now for the present I promised you. I've come across a source for getting a Rolls-Royce education for less than $1,000 annually. An education that could potentially enable your child to achieve SAT scores over 1,000. That's much higher than those of the majority of college-bound students. This source comes with the recommendation of highly reputable persons that I know of, and it's been used by over 40,000 satisfied families. So the course features include printable books, materials on CD, complete course of study. There's 12 years of education on 22 CDs. There's a 120,000 page library reference source, 1911 Encyclopedia Britannica, uncontaminated, a 1913 Noah Webster's Dictionary, would be uncontaminated, a 2,000 historic illustrations, a 6,000 word vocabulary teacher, progress exams keyed to books, an outstanding science program, very high academic quality, and proven methods of self-study. Your costs per family, because each member of your family can use these, you don't have to buy more. Your costs per family are $195 plus $35 shipping for the 22 CDs. Then there's $69 plus $10 shipping for each of 9 hardback math books that can be used over again. And then the printing costs to print out the study materials from the CDs. So I just took, for conservative, I just took the 120,000 pages at 10 cents a page, and that would be $1,200. So for approximately $2,000, adding all that up, it's approximately $2,000. You can have all the materials you need for grades 1 through 12, and that's it. You buy that at $2,000. That's all you buy for grades 1 through 12. And you're done. So this works out to something on the order of $200 a year, not including a cost of a computer and a printer if you don't have them. So I've actually, calculated a higher cost than it really is, to be conservative. So $200 per year. You compare this with the government school average of $12,000 per year, which is $144,000 for 12 years. $2,000 versus $144,000. And that $12,000 doesn't even get an average college-bound student score higher than, on the SAT, of higher than 763. That's published data from SAT. So, and the $200 a year program can get you to the level where you can score in the area of 1,000 or more. So even parents on a welfare budget can afford this excellent program. Now you can check it out at www.robinsoncurriculum.com. When you go there, at the bottom of the page, there's a link to an Acrobat PDF version of the entire website. If you download that document, it's about 148 pages. You can use that to learn about the entire curriculum and the education approach. Now, I have no financial interest in or relationship with the Robinson curriculum. I found out about it, I checked the web page, I had some questions, I called in, and I found out they exist. They're still in business and trying to get work even better, making sure people are satisfied. So this is reliable, but I have no financial interest. I've talked to them once, that's it, to check some questions. Because I didn't want to talk to you about this unless I could verify it myself. So I'm just merely a reporter here. I do know that I will purchase this curriculum for my grandson. And with his parents' permission, I'm not letting him be destroyed by the government school system. Absolutely no way. And you might want to do the same for your loved ones or any others that you may have a desire to help. Now here's something that could blow your mind. Remember, according to the NEA report for the school year ending 2008, there were approximately 49,000 students enrolled in K through 12 at a nationwide cost of $578 billion, with $77 billion of that being here in California alone. And these government schools turned out functional illiterates with the best SAT average score for college-bound graduates of 763. That's the best they could do on an average. Now, for ease of illustration, let's round that number of nationwide students up from 49 million to 50 million. Let's just 50, just for ease of calculation here. I'm going to make a point. Suppose that all these students are educated using the Robinson curriculum at a cost of $200 per year per student. The total cost for all students nationwide would be $10 billion, not the government school cost of $578 billion. And these students would have the potential for an average SAT score above 1,000. So, and even if you wanted to add a few extras to the Robinson curriculum, increasing the cost per year per student by a factor of 5, from $200 to $1,000, let's just say you wanted to throw some stuff, and you don't need to, but if you wanted to. So let's just do a calculation. Suppose you fluffed it up or whatever, to $1,000 per year. The cost would still only be $50 billion per year for all students nationwide. That's less than the cost of $77 billion per year that Californians pay just to send their children to the government schools here. So nationwide, that's a savings of over $500 billion a year, enough to fund another Department of Defense. Of course, we don't need another Department of Defense, nor do we need a civilian version of it here in America. But now, how do you see the huge magnitude of savings that could be used for productive purposes instead of turning out functional illiterates? So click on part 4, on the part 4 video, for some amazing results that I'm going to show you from the Robinson curriculum, and a few more things that I'm going to tell you about the California Education Tax Relief Act. I'll see you there.